baby Frieza can invade the Viltrumites and beat them easily. You have Black Frieza as the picture, it's not even. That brother's gonna be eating dinner while defeating them. I love Viltrumites. I like Omni-Man, Invincible. I'm new to the franchise. When the show came out, I started watching it. I'm avoiding the comics because I don't want to get spoiled with a lot of the stuff that's gonna happen after the last season. But still, some people broke down, and I've reacted to some videos of the Viltrumites. They broke down how strong they are. I said it before, and I stand on it. They're not beating low-class Saiyans. So, sorry, I was seeing something. But they're not beating low-class Saiyans, in my opinion. Your strongest, who was, I think he said Thrag, is not beating the low-class Saiyans. In my opinion. You know, I did say this. I remember saying I'll give them up to maybe Nappa. Maybe. And that's like the last Viltrumite on his last leg. Every other Viltrumite that Nappa will take out most of them. And the last one, which will probably be Thrag, is on his last leg. What are you going to do now with Vegeta on up? And don't send Broly down there. Basically, that's all I'm saying is Viltrumites didn't have a chance against them. Frieza is a whole different problem. It's no problem for him, for Frieza. He's laughing. That's an easy. I'll put it to you this way. He doesn't have to do nothing. He could send Zarbon down there, and Zarbon's taking care of that. Who's the other one? Dodoria. He could send them. The Ginyu, well, they don't even have to use the Ginyu Force. But if they just wanted to have some fun and do their little dances as they're taking care of the Viltrumites, they can. It's not even close. I love to see his breakdown of it. First off, shout out to, battery died. Shout out to Ty Learned. Sorry if I said that name wrong. But let's see what his breakdown of it is. Frieza's not doing anything. And I'm not saying that as in he loses. He's not doing anything. He's not moving. That's how strong he is. He's not moving, bro. If he wanted to, he could just sit like he did on Planet Vegeta and just throw the ball. But if he just wants to have some fun, it wouldn't even be fun for him. There's no competition there. It took Goku. People forget because Frieza's been around for a while. They forget, though, some people, not everybody, they forget how much it took to take out Frieza the first time. How many bodies have fell before Frieza fell. They forget. Goku had to go Super Saiyan, which I know it's been used so much now, but if you think about the first time it happened and how much of an accomplishment that was, even Vegeta, who hated Goku, gave Goku his credit. Kakarot, you dog, you did it. You actually did it. You're a Super Saiyan. Like the accomplishment it took. And it still took a minute to take out Frieza. It's Frieza's power. In my opinion, I always say Frieza's one of the greatest villains of all time. One of them. He's on the Mount Rushmore, in my opinion. You know, compared to any villain. Joker, Vader, whoever's your favorite up there, Frieza has to be up there as well, in my opinion. But yeah, let's see what he has to say. I don't even think it's close. I don't even think Frieza has to lift a finger.
The Emperor of the Universe, who is notorious for not only conquering planet Vegeta, but along with hundreds of worlds, and was considered the strongest being in the universe at one point. What if in Dragon Ball, one of these planets that Frieza had to conquer was none other than planet Viltrum? Or
not even
basically just replace the Saiyans, as Viltrums are the closest things we have to common Saiyans. If Frieza tried,
even easier,
he conquer planet Viltrum, or would he just get overwhelmed? First, I'll be talking about Frieza scaling, and then I'll get into where Invincible.
Like I said, base kid form, he's winning.
I've talked about Invincible a couple of times on the channel, while I've rarely ever talked about Frieza or Namek Saga scaling. So with that out of the way, let's get right into the topic at hand. The most accepted scaling for Frieza I usually see is Dwarf Star level, due to him in his first form casually destroying planet Vegeta, which has 10 times the gravity as normal Earth. A basic calculation has this at Dwarf Star level, and mind you, Frieza did this in his first form super casually. Frieza specifically wants to have 3 more transformations, with his weakest transformation being twice as strong as his first form. And with the peak of his power being at 120 million, which is specifically over 226 times stronger than his first form. Mind you, in Dragon Ball, power levels aren't linear, as Vegeta, who had a power level of 24,000, completely dismantled Dodoria, who had a power level of 22. And so this should be enough to get Frieza into the star level range at worst, considering that in the anime, we see that the explosion on Namek engulfs a cluster of stars. And so this should definitely get Frieza into that star level range at the very worst. I personally believe Frieza to be much stronger than this, as even anime calculations like Vegeta destroying the bug planet was
with
around
his
that
two
star
fingers.
level. And Frieza transforming from his first to second form had King Kai thinking, oh my god, he's gonna destroy the universe. It's very clear that Frieza probably didn't just get simply 2 times stronger. And we see in the anime a dying Frieza would manage to survive the explosion of Namek. This explosion, mind you, engulfed a cluster of stars.
After he got beat down by Goku and everything.
Multi-solar system, which Frieza does manage to barely survive. And what makes this really hard to deny is the fact that Frieza had absolutely no energy and half a body.
Half a body, thank you.
Just barely reaching star level, I feel like is just kind of lowballing him and using mainly old metas and not really being caught up with the times. I believe with current metas, especially given the anime version of Frieza, he should easily be reaching that large star to even solar system.
Yeah, we're not even gonna talk about Golden
Frieza.
Frieza. That's not even a conversation.
Dragon Ball Goku dodging light, and in the anime, directly he reacts to things in space as he's traveling to Namek. This was calculated to be around thousands of times the speed of light, and we also have things like the range of Frieza's explosions as well, reaching millions of times the speed of light. And this was 50% of Frieza's blast that went off later on, and a full-powered Frieza would obviously be faster than this. And as for his hacks, Frieza has mastery over key control, so he can do things like fly, shoot death beams, and utilize telekinesis to use the area around him to fight. He can also survive in the vacuum of space, so he could just simply nuke a planet and be fine right after, theoretically. Has some of the most ridiculous endurance feats within the series, especially during
I must say that Frieza be taking a beating though in Dragon Ball, and that brother still stands. Broly, like, he takes a beating more than anybody.
Would be in a higher tier than his own attack potency.
But it's no beating against the Viltrumites.
Let's talk about the Viltrumites, and let's see if they can take down the Emperor of the Universe. Now, the most known feat in Invincible, and what's mainly used for scaling the verse, is the feat of 3 Viltrumites destroying a planet, which I honestly don't think is as impressive as people think.
Not at all.
Specifically needed to hit a point in the planet, or else they just die on impact, and these Viltrumites are some of the more stronger ones.
And it took 3 of them.
The feat itself isn't even planet level. It's like, at best, maybe moon or maybe small planet if you're being super generous. But for this video,
I think it's funny these reactors always and I love it, I respect them for it. They're always being very generous. Like you said, if you're being super generous, that's the thing. It's like that's how far this power scaling is. That's how far it is. It's like, bro, you got to be very generous to put some of these Viltrumites even in a little bit of a conversation with these Saiyans.
The benefit of the doubt, as
let alone Frieza.
Most, if not all Saiyans shown on screen are more than likely planet level. I will say the top tier Viltrumites are definitely like in that large planet tier, but most, if not all, Viltrumites are like maybe multi-continental or probably in lower tiers. But again, I'm going to be generous towards the Viltrumites for this video and say most, if not all of them, are like small planets.
The highest Viltrumite is not beating a low-class Saiyan.
I think could be argued to
like
be
Raditz,
or
well, maybe. I'll take that back.
Stronger than every other Viltrumite.
Not Nappa.
It's not really quantifiable, and I can't really get them past that planet range. Like, I'm not about to say Thrag is star level because he's stronger than Viltrumites that are planet level. And as for speed, most of the relevant Viltrumites should scale to Alan and Omni-Man speed calcs of them traveling through light years in weeks, with both coming out to be around massively faster than light. And this is one thing I will say that most Viltrumites should probably scale to. But again, we're going to be nice and giving the Viltrumites a little bit more leeway, just so we can see how far Frieza is willing to go to take him down. Now, as for hacks, the Viltrumites don't have anything to note. Unlike the Saiyans, they don't really have that crazy ability to adapt and grow stronger constantly through battle. They don't come back stronger from near death. They're just kind of big, strong dudes who can fly and have some knowledge of close quarters combat. With all this in mind, let's analyze. Could Frieza conquer Viltrum? Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, he would be able to do this pretty easily, guys.
Pretty easily.
Frieza with 50% of his energy should just be enough to simply wipe out the planet along with
At base form, as a child.
The sheer gap in AP and in terms of speed, Frieza should be on their tier, if not arguably faster, depending on how you go about the speed scaling. If we're using more modern metas, honestly, Frieza doesn't even need to leave the ship. He can send out Zarbon, Dodoria, and at the very worst, the Ginyu Force.
Right, that's maybe. He don't even have to do that.
Murder, Jace, and Ginyu would just straight up destroy Mark, Omni-Man, and Thrag.
Yeah, thank you. I like this video. All right, I like everybody's video I react to. Let me make sure I like it now.
Metas, honestly, Frieza doesn't even need to leave the ship. He
can
send out Zarbon, Dodoria, and at
it's not even a conversation.
Worst, the Ginyu Force. I unironically believe a combination of Birder, Jace, and Ginyu would just straight up destroy Mark, Omni-Man, and Thrag.
Yeah, easily.
I'm sorry, but it's just really bad, especially when considering that Invincible's greatest feat isn't even planetary, unironically. And the only characters who even scale to this naturally are like 2, maybe 3 other Viltrumites. Meanwhile, everybody on Frieza's squad is capable of destroying planets and
it's like, send them. They could probably take out Viltrum.
Could you imagine Omni-Man just breaking his hand trying to punch someone like...
Thank you.
I'm sorry for putting this image in your head, but...
Remember, y'all have to remember, the ones who keep talking about how weak Dragon Ball characters are, is compared to their, like, in their universe. That's why, like, when you see Vegeta get beat down by Raccoon, for example, they show Raccoon. That's against Raccoon. That's not happening against Omni-Man. Vegeta beating and bruised is going to beat Omni-Man. You know, they see what happens on the show, and they're like, oh, well, he's weaker than such and such. No, that's not the case. Let Omni-Man go to fight Raccoon, as he said. Arms break it. At least Vegeta put a dent on Raccoon, but anyway.
God, bro.
We gotta look beyond the Dragon Ball universe.
This is a very big mismatch, and the Viltrumites need to worry about the Ginyu Force before even thinking of taking on Frieza.
I don't even think about that. Think about Dodoria and
in the long run, and
Zarbon
Frieza should conquer Viltrum pretty quickly. If you think they're faster, he just baby rages and AoE explodes with solar system range. If they are faster than Frieza, it's not by much, and again, Frieza can make this up with his range and skill. Frieza's conquering Viltrum like it's a random side quest on a Wednesday, and yeah, he's doing this with no.
There'll be another planet to conquer.
Don't forget to become a member for weekly stream. Shoutouts to Hans Peter, who's the only.
So yeah, shout out to him. I'll put the original video in the description below. But yes, thank you. Yeah, I'll make sure to put the original video in the description below. And yeah, I'll talk to you later. See ya.